Hello again, I am Blunty. So, a couple of months ago in the closed beta of New World, something rather dramatic happened to a bunch of graphics cards. They blew up, pretty much literally. Not just figuratively, but they literally, they got too hot and stopped working. They didn't explode, but, you know, in colloquial terms, they blew up. They got themselves blown up. And that put a lot of people playing the beta in a bit of a panic because graphics cards are not only one of the most expensive items in our precious gaming machines, but also kind of hard to replace right now. So if yours wasn't under warranty, well, even if it was under warranty, if it blew up, how long would it take to get a replacement? How long you would not being able to game? And oh my God, is it safe to play New World? Well, it turns out, yes, it was safe to play New World. I was playing just fine, running at 4K on my RTX 3070 and everything maxed out and 90 frame rate runs wild. There are a couple of issues, and we now know the second half of the story. The first half of the story was the game itself, particularly in the menu screen, didn't have a frame limiter on it. So when you're sitting at the menu screen, very, very easy to run the menu screen, not a lot of geography or processing going on. So the frame rate just went whoop, straight up through the sky. Basically, the load on a graphics card isn't just how hard it's working, but how often it's doing it. So in having no limit to how many frames the menu screen could possibly process, the card was just letting itself run to its absolute ragged limits, just pumping out gajillions of frames for no particularly useful reason, which made many graphics cards run extraordinarily hot or unusually hot, which in turn caused an issue for some other cards. There were a lot of unconfirmed reports, but all of the confirmed reports we saw eventually narrowed it down to one particular card. In the meantime, the New World developers themselves put out a patch, of course, to just jam a frame limiter on the menu screen to stop this happening in the first place to vulnerable cards. So if you're out there still panicking, still worrying, still remembering the stories, the dramatic stories of New World beta blowing up graphics cards, rest assured the problem is already solved. You are safe to play the new open beta, which starts in just over a week from when this video will go up. About 8 days, I think, maybe even 7 days. I haven't done the math. So if you are watching this video worrying about whether or not it's safe to play the beta, yes, it is. It will be safe to play the beta. There'll be no danger to your graphics card. Now, the other half of the problem, the specific graphics card that was having the problem, was the EVGA RTX 3090. There was one specific graphics card that was having the problem as more of these reports came out and more confirmed reports came out. Again, there are a lot of unconfirmed reports, which may or may not be people trying to hitch their trailer to the drama train. Maybe their card was on the teetering edge of failing anyway, and this issue with the menu screen pushed it over the edge. We'll never know the full story of that, but we do know that there was a consistent problem with one specific batch of one specific graphics card. And now EVGA have done their due diligence, they've done their investigation on the cards that came back in, and to EVGA's credit, they immediately sent out replacement cards. So if you do have an EVGA card, you can probably rest assured that the way they handle their warranty stuff, pretty confidence inducing. I don't have any EVGA cards here. I was going to hold one up for you. I was sure I had one in my stack. I was going to point to it and go, hey, yeah. But EVGA, if someone from EVGA is watching, I'll be happy to test your new batch of RTX 3090s in the New World as it launches, or if you can get one out to me quickly enough for the open beta. More than happy to take one of those off your hand and test it and tell everybody about how safe it is to use one of your cards with New World now. All I need is the card, please. You reckon that's going to work? I don't think it's going to work. Worth a try though. So if you are interested in specifics, EVGA, like I said, they've done their investigation. They said they had about 24 cards come in with the issue. So that's a very small number to begin with. They didn't say exactly how many, they just said about 24. So it might be 2.5. It doesn't really matter. They all was from the same manufacturing batch, or one of the first batches out the door in 2020. So if you bought your card more recently, again, you're probably pretty much safe. And the issue was there was a fault in the soldering for the MOSFETs. Now, without getting too technical nitty-gritty, because it doesn't really matter here, the MOSFETs are a little electronic component. Think of them like a very, 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 very fast switch. And their job is to basically help regulate the power. So if the MOSFETs aren't doing their job properly, either because they're improperly soldered or they're faulty or they're not cooled properly, you can have all kinds of problems with your graphics card, anything from issues with performance to flat out crashes to, in the absolute worst case scenario, as we found out here, the card just cooking itself to death. So let me read you some of the stuff they've said to PCWorld.com in relation to this. EVGA said it received about 24 dead GeForce 3090 cards believed to have failed from playing the New World beta. All of the cards were earlier production run cards manufactured in 2020, like I said, under X-ray analysis. And I've seen this done. I've been to NVIDIA's back rooms and their rooms and stuff. They have these specialized X-ray tools which take these microscopic X-rays of the card. It looks really cool. I'm not allowed to show you any of it because it's all, secret behind the scenes stuff, but I did get some footage of it. But trust me, it's cool. And NVIDIA's engineers are very clever, and presumably EVGA's are just as clever. Maybe they got NVIDIA's help with doing this. I don't know. But either way, what they found out is they appear to have poor workmanship, in their words, on soldering around the card's MOSFET circuits. I don't know how you would call it workmanship because these things aren't done by hand. It's not really workmanship. It's workmachineship, I suppose, but that's a clumsy word. We know what they mean, Blunty, don't get pedantic. So EVGA said all of the failures reported to them were confined to this one particular batch of RTX 3090 cards. They immediately shipped out replacement cards, like I mentioned before. And by the way, they shipped those replacement cards out before the people with failed cards shipped them to EVGA. So it's not like you had to send them the card and then wait and then get your card back. They went, okay, we'll take your word for it. New card's on the way, send us the old one. That's the way to handle this kind of stuff. EVGA, top points, gold star, smiley face sticker, A+, check mark, would frequent again. Again, they didn't mention exactly how many cards they got sent in, aside from saying about 24, but they did say it was significantly less than 1% of the total from that series of batches around about that time where the cards were. So, it's very, 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 very small chances. Further on in the article, it says both EVGA and NVIDIA worked with Amazon Games to obtain the version of the game that bricked the cards to conduct further testing. EVGA said could not replicate the issue, but it was working on a method to screen for the particular power profile the beta version created. So they're going to test for this in future as well to make absolutely sure that if any other game developer out there doesn't flip the right switch or does something stupid or doesn't think about things hard enough, that everything they do in the future is going to be protected from this in the first place. So they're really doing the due diligence here, which you would really expect them to do, especially NVIDIA, because you don't want people scared to be buying your most expensive, precious, premium graphics card, do you? You want people eager for that stuff, as I am, EVGA and NVIDIA. If you just happen to have any 3090s lying around that you want me to test on your behalf, happy to in real-world conditions. Early theories that EVGA's cooling system was to blame are also incorrect. So it wasn't the fans, it wasn't the fan controller, it wasn't the temperature sensors or anything like that. In no way, shape or form is it related to the fan controller, the representative from EVGA said. In that theory, EVGA's temperature monitoring hardware was being blamed for not being able to keep up with the load of the RTX 30 series GPUs, causing gaps that sparked the bricking. EVGA said that's not the case. However, the fan controller's microcontroller could indeed look like it wasn't working under the extreme swings of New World, but EVGA said the issue there is related to the noise of the I2C bus, causing popular third-party monitoring tools such as HW Info, which I like that tool, I use it all the time, GPU-Z, I like that tool, use it all the time, to incorrectly report the noise as their fan controller failing. So basically the thing was working so hard, the third-party tools were getting mixed messages because of the noise in the signal and reporting that these things were failing when they weren't actually failing, which is kind of interesting. Its own EVGA Precision X1 tool, so the native tool they provide for monitoring this stuff, would screen out the noise and correctly report it, EVGA officials said. The company has since issued a microcontroller update that, when paired with the updated version of third-party tools, will correctly show the fan controller working properly. So they've updated the microcontroller updates themselves so they report more reliably to these third-party tools without putting the onus on the third-party tools to account for it in the first place. So again, EVGA really sort of just going above and beyond and doing everything they can to secure confidence and the expectation of high quality and reliability from their brand. I'm loving seeing this from EVGA. So there you go. Pretty interesting story. And again, if the only reason you watch this video is to figure out whether or not it's safe to play New World, I'm pretty sure it is. I mean, I can't speak on behalf of NVIDIA or EVGA or any other graphics card manufacturer. I'm not employed by them, not even sponsored by any of them right now. But I know I have zero fear of playing the New World open beta. In fact, I'm really, really looking forward to it because I really enjoy New World and I just can't wait for it to launch. There's too many delays already. I'm thirsty for it. Thirsty for it. Thank you very much for watching. I am Blunty. Thank you as always to the patrons up above there. As always, the above and beyond support is wonderful and glorious. Not enough to afford a RTX 3090, but still helps. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Blunty, and we'll catch you next time. Could I sound more desperate for a 3090? I just want one. 3070's doing fine. 4K gaming, no worries. You always want the best of the best, don't you? Just me? Not just me. All PC gamers.